Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Yes, tanks 2 days in a row. Wow, what's going on? Well, I wasn't actually anticipating doing another World of Tanks video this week, but then I saw this replay, and I thought, yep, we're doing this. Plus, I think I've really been kicking the arse out of World of Warships lately, and the hotfix just went live for the aircraft carriers, so I thought I'd at least leave World of Warships a couple of days for everybody to get used to the new changes. Speaking of new changes, wheeled vehicles in World of Tanks. This is Acing Gaming Tam, I think we're just going to call him Ace, in the brand new, all singing, all dancing French Tier 8 armoured car, the Lynx 6x6. And holy shit, this thing is fast. Ace regularly manages to hit 80 kilometers per hour in this thing without breaking a sweat, and I think you can do 60 kilometers per hour in reverse. You might be thinking, well, what the hell's the point of light tanks now? And that's a good question. But these things are very, very different from light tanks in a number of ways. First of all, they tend to have terrible view range. So using that speed to rush to... whoops. These things are so hard to steer. Of course, that's another thing. Because they're not tracked vehicles, because they're wheeled vehicles, you can't rotate on the spot the same way that you can in, for example, a tank like the T-49 there. If you want to actually turn in these things, you have to actually be moving, either forwards or backwards, and that's the key to these wheeled vehicles. Keep your ass moving. Speed, certainly not armour, and certainly not hit points, is what's going to keep you alive in these things. Now, I mentioned the terrible view range, and light tanks definitely have these things beat in that department. Hell, some medium tanks have these things beat in that department, so I think what we're seeing here is a throwback to the good old days, or bad old days depending on your perspective, of when the T50-2 was the undisputed king of the Tier 5 light tanks. And I'm not talking about the new one that they put back in, which is fun, but it's not the same as the old one. No, I'm talking about the old Tier 5 T50-2. Back in the days when physics wasn't even a thing in World of Tanks, when machines would just stick to the ground and couldn't flip over. And T50-2s used to zip around the battlefield at 72 kilometers per hour, not slowing down in the turns and absolutely terrorising heavy tank drivers. But the T50-2 kind of had bad view range as well, which was fine because it excelled as an active scout. It would just rush straight towards the enemy, manoeuvring as it went, dodging shots, and spotting everybody just by virtue of getting close enough to them, making them fire their guns and give their position away, not because it had especially good view range. And these wheeled vehicles are exactly like that. So where's the downside, Jingles? Well, you're watching the downside. These things have no armour, and they do not have a lot of health. Like I said, speed and manoeuvrability is what's going to keep you alive. And the Lynx 6x6 is aided in that department because it has a sort of cruise control feature. You can press the X key, which will raise or lower the middle set of wheels depending on whether or not you want extreme speed at the cost of some manoeuvrability, or extreme manoeuvrability and traction at the cost of some speed. And that suspension also has another feature, because when you're throwing a machine as light and fast as this around the battlefield, there is a very good chance that at some point you're going to go airborne. And you know what happens in other tanks when you go airborne and you come down with a crash? You tend to lose a lot of health. That can still happen in one of these armoured cars, but only if the hull makes contact with the ground. The suspension takes up a lot of slack. Another feature of these vehicles is that they have an enhanced lock-on. When you're moving around as quickly as this thing can, and you're trying to right-click the silhouette of an enemy vehicle in order to lock onto them, so you only really need to worry about steering rather than aiming at the same time. You can appreciate how hard that can be in a machine that manoeuvres and moves as quickly as this. So in one of these armoured cars, you only have to get the target reticle in the rough location of the vehicle that you want to lock onto. Of course, if you're aiming for precision shots like that in order to track and immobilise a vehicle, then you can't rely on the lock-on feature. Now, oh, is he going to get hit? Is he going to get hit? He should get hit. He didn't get hit. Hey! These things also have very good accuracy when firing on the move, because you're supposed to keep moving at all times in these new armoured cars. However, they don't quite get it all their own way. because they tend to have substandard armour penetration, which means that you have to use that manoeuvrability to get around the flanks and rear of your targets, and, well, let's face it, this Jagdtiger isn't exactly making it difficult. So this is likely to be his second kill, even though this 90mm gun does seem to take a rather long time to reload. So, the Lynx 6x6 in particular, at tier 8, and pretty much all of the other French armoured cars in general. Small, lightly armoured, they don't have a lot of health, they're pretty damn quick and very manoeuvrable. Their guns are very good at firing on the move, but they tend to have poor armour penetration compared to other vehicles of the same tier, which means that they have to exploit their superior speed and or manoeuvrability in order to outflank and get around their targets. And as you saw happen to the Jagdtiger 88, if one of these things catches you alone and isolated and there is room in which he can manoeuvre, you're pretty much dead. But it only takes a couple of hits to kill one of these things too. And there's the Scorpion G, and whoa shit, nope, nearly flipped it, nope, managed to recover. Scorpion G, after Ace has only taken 2 hits in this game, he's now a one-shot kill. But the Scorpion G doesn't appear to realise just how long his reload is, and that's going to cost him. And that's only natural, of course, these are still very new machines, not everybody's gotten used to the various different parameters associated with them, like how much damage per shot can I expect to take if I get hit by one of these things, how long is the reload, things like that. Unfortunately, while Ace was earning his 3rd kill, the rest of the team appear to have been outdoing each other in an attempt to see who could die the quickest. There's just the Scorpion G left, and he's detected, and he doesn't have a lot of health, so in a couple of seconds it's just going to be Ace on his lonesome against 5 enemy tanks. And there it is. Now the T-30 is a nice big fat target, but shooting the T-30 won't kill him. Shooting that guy will. And at this point, it's all about reducing the number of guns shooting at you and the number of tanks chasing after you. And that means the T-44 here is next. Well, he can see the T-30, he can't see the T-44-100 or the Waffenträger Panzer IV, so, well, shoot at the tanks that you can see. There's the lock-on feature. Plants one into the side of the T-30, and he's about to have fun with the T-30 when suddenly the T-44-100 pops up. So change of plan, uses the lock-on again, finishes him off. T-30, of course, very slow turning turret, still trying to turn the turret around. Time to make Billy big steps and get the hell out of here. And oh shit, there's the Waffenträger. Run away, got to get under his gun. His gun depression isn't great, particularly at the front. Now what are you going to do, Ace? I mean, down here you're safe, from the T-30 at least, but the Waffenträger's coming after you. Oh crap, that shot missed. Here he comes. Whoa! Oh, that was unlucky. He fired high explosive, but it went straight into the tracks. The Waffenträger's hull only suffered splash damage, and it didn't even blow the tracks off. And he's missed again, but oh, is it all over for our hero? Nope, the Waffenträger's missed as well. Okay, now we're talking. Oh, actually, do you really want to hang around for a second shot? Or do you really think, yes, you can beat the Waffenträger's reload? And then circle around and... Actually, no, let's not finish him off. It's the teeth. Oh, he's missed. Right, well, with the Waffenträger scrabbling around at the bottom of the gully over there, he's got all the time in the world to play with the T-30. And, I mean, I like the T-30. It's got a monstrously powerful gun, but it was not built for fighting like this. There is just no way he is ever going to get that gun pointed at his target. Unless the Waffenträger manages to dig himself out of that hole, this T-30 is so incredibly dead. One more shot. Got him. Now, what's the Waffenträger doing? You're going to go after him? Actually, probably not a good idea. He's probably coming that way. He can definitely one-shot you. And he only has to get lucky the once. So at this point he's got 3 choices, and one of the choices it looks like he's ruled out, deliberately hunting down the Waffenträger. Because, well, that would be a fair fight, and fair fights are for suckers. So, his other choice was to go straight for the enemy cap circle, and he can definitely make it there in a minute or less, and probably be able to cap out before the Waffenträger can do anything about it. Probably. There's a chance he might run straight into the Waffenträger, and as you can see by his health bar, the Waffenträger only needs to get lucky once. So instead, he's setting up an ambush in his own cap circle. Now, This may not work. It could be that the Waffenträger is sitting in a bush somewhere waiting to try to spot him. But if this doesn't work, there's still 5 minutes of the game left. He can easily zip across the map to the enemy cap circle and attempt to force the Waffenträger's hand by capping him out instead. The only problem with this plan is these armoured cars don't have good view range. So when he does spot the Waffenträger, he's going to be close, and he's attempting to fall back and shoot through the bush so as to not give his position away, but he doesn't really have the gun depression for it. So he has to pull back to a position where he can, but it's only going to take one more shot, and he fires blind, and that is it. Waffenträger dead, victory secured, celebrates the win by driving straight into the nearest rock, which is a little bit of a dick move. I mean, the rock never did anything to him, but, well, flush with the excitement of the victory, we'll let him get away with that one. Ace Tanker, Radley Walters, Kolobanov's medal. I mean, just all of the awards. And, yeah, that was also a Tier 9 battle, by the way, in case it wasn't obvious, in this Tier 8 French armoured car. But how much fun did it look like Ace was having in that game? I'm tempted to say all of the fun. And I haven't seen somebody so obviously enjoying themselves while playing a game of World of Tanks in, well, since the last time I saw somebody driving one of the old T50-2s. And much like somebody driving one of the old T50-2s, I think it's safe to say that Ace probably didn't feel 100% in control of the vehicle at all times. Which is probably, in fact, almost certainly one of the things that's so fun about driving them. But there you go, French armoured cars, courtesy of Acing Gaming Tab. You can see why I was so keen to do another World of Tanks video today, can't you? And I'd be very interested to hear your experiences in these machines, both driving them and being on the receiving end of them, down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.